Day 59. What a weird day. We didn't have any committee meetings today. We were scheduled to start discussing the budget at 8 a.m. and we had 2 full days planned because typically no one can agree on a budget and it takes 2 days to hammer out and argue over every single amendment that has been brought forth in committee. But today we made history in that the budget was passed unanimously in the House of Representatives in under 90 minutes. There are some members of the House who have never voted for a budget before, and even they voted yes today. So there are 6 parts to the budget, and there were all kinds of extra people in the House getting ready to print amendments and distribute them, and extra tables up in the front, and each section of the budget, there are 6 of them. Each section of the budget, there were 5 discussed today. Each section of the budget has a vice chair and a chair that's a Democrat and a Republican, and they would go up to the front of the room and open and explain what kind of changes were made, and then usually open the floor for people who are going to bring amendments and fight for what they got or try to take out something that was given that they didn't like. But for the first time, I think ever, today the vice chair would go up and thank everyone on the committee and thank the staff and kind of explain a little bit about the budget. The vice chair would say, we were sorry that we lost these things, but we were really happy that we got these things. And they would ask for discussion. No one brought anything, and so they closed it. So I'm going to kind of explain why no one brought anything, but I first of all wanted to talk about how quickly this happened. They opened the discussion overall at 8:11, and less than 20 minutes later, they were closing on the first section, Section A. 14 minutes after that, they closed on Section B. 11 minutes after that, they closed on Section C. 11 minutes after that, they closed on Section D, and by 9:13, so 7 minutes later, they had closed on Section E. And so I got texts and emails and phone messages right away of people saying, what just happened? How did this happen? What happened is that in the past 58 days in the committees, the Democrats have been working really, really, really hard to find reasonable Republicans to get things that we wanted. And they were able to do that. And so there was a ton of compromise by both parties. The Republicans didn't cut things that we didn't want cut, and they did allow things that we wanted. And on the other hand, we supported them as well. So the Democrats wanted to protect the work that they had done, and the Republicans wanted to pass their budget. They're the majority, so this is their budget, and it's important to them that this gets passed. So the message from the Democrats was, don't cut anything, and we'll approve your budget even though we've lost a lot already. The message from the Republican was, don't be bringing a lot of amendments to try to add things, specifically Title X funding, and we'll pass this budget. Basically, if you don't bring any amendments, then we won't bring any amendments. But if you bring amendments, then we will, and we'll cut everything that we've given to you so far in committee. So everyone went in armed with amendments. This stack of papers is each something that the Republicans wanted to cut from the budget or the Democrats wanted to put back into the budget. And so they had them all printed and prepared, and they got up, and none of these were brought. Not a single one of these amendments was brought. So I just wanted to read a list of kind of what we got and what we lost. So I guess first of all, I'll list the things that we did not get. And keep in mind that there was a Republican amendment for every single one of these things. We didn't get these, and there were Democrat amendments to try to put every single one of these things back into the budget, but none of these things were brought. So we didn't expand the Jobs for Montana graduates to the schools in Montana that don't have them. We didn't get quality educator payments. We did not get Title X funding. We didn't get pay raises we did get pay raises in the insurance commissioner's office. We did not get the Main Street program to strengthen and preserve historic downtowns. We didn't get primary business sector training. We did not get traumatic brain injury support and education. We did not get increased Medicaid rates for psychiatry. We did not get 13.5 full-time employees for the Child and Family Services Division. We did not restore funding for overtime and holiday pay at the Montana Developmental Center. We didn't increase funding to cover capital case defense in the Office of Public Defense, the Office of the Public Defender. We did not get an increased number of commercial driver's licenses. We did not get legal secretaries or lawyers for the Office of the Public Defender. We did not get 5 full-time employees for correctional officers at the Montana Mental Health Nursing Facility in Lewistown. So we were ready to bring amendments for all of those, and we did not, because we had gotten all of the following things, and there were Republican amendments that would have been presented on the floor that would have gutted all of the things I'm about to list. They are the majority, and if we would have brought amendments and gotten anything to pass, they would have gutted the following things. So these were our wins. We did get an increased number of highway patrols, specifically for eastern Montana. We got an increase for rural health care. We got aquatic invasive species protection. We got a veteran success program. We got community college support. We got early childhood development funding. We got funding for legislative services. We got funding for our libraries. We got funding for the Historical Society. We got funding for the Office of Public Instruction. We got the Indian Country Economic Development money. We got funding for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We got funding for the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind. We got a nursing home rate increase. We got a children's Medicaid cost projection increase. We got overtime pay at the Montana State Hospital. We got a tuition freeze. That's huge. We got 5 more whammy slots. That's huge. We got university funding, and we got Arts Council funding for grants. I don't think any of us even expected to get any of these things, but we did. And so you can see the compromise. There were a lot of Republicans who did not want to fund any of the things that I just mentioned. But none of the amendments to cut these things were brought today. So I'm not sure that anyone's satisfied. And maybe that's the way you're supposed to feel after you pass a budget. We all went for a late breakfast, early lunch, and then we came back for second reading, and there were a lot of no votes for me on the floor today. In fact, I think it might be the first time that I've voted not to adopt the committee report. The bill passed to gut the Wrongful Termination Act in Montana, so an attack on workers' rights. A bill passed that prevents local governments from doing interim zoning. A bad gun bill came back from the Senate with amendments and passed, and a couple of other items. So all unicorns and rainbows this morning with the budget, although there's some hesitation, like kind of waiting for lightning to strike, and also a bad taste that no one really got what they wanted. And then back to business as usual this afternoon. I'm not sure how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? See you tomorrow.